Well, we're just preparing the second side here for fiberglass, and you know, it's a pretty tricky operation because we're going to put 2 layers on it at once. You got to put the first layer on and get it saturated, and then roll the second one right out over it. Well, you know, if you take too much time, everything goes off on you and you have a tragedy. So I've got a couple helpers here today. I think you've met Kenneth before, and there's Matthew down the end, and it's going to take all 3 of us to get this done. It would be even nicer if I had another person, but we can do it. We did the other side, it came out nice, but it was hard to do. So, you know, it's not something that everybody can just get away with. And we're using the slow hardener because it gives us quite a bit more time to get it done, you know. The medium hardener would go off just a little too fast, but the slow hardener goes off just as good. It just takes a little bit more time. Well, Kenneth and Matthew have gone around in front of us here and taped off the frames with blue tape. And that's pretty necessary because we drip some off the bottom of the plank right there. And if it gets on the frames, well, that happens real quick. But getting it off the frames doesn't happen real quick. So we're pretty careful about letting it run off the sides and drip on the frames. And we've also protected the floor with some paper. So if it drips down to the floor, we're being cautious. The other side of the boat's already done, but we've put paper over that. So if we get resin over the top at the keel, it'll run down on the paper, and the paper kind of soaks it up a little bit so it doesn't drip off on that side of the boat as well. Here I'm taking electric planer to the fiberglass on the transom. I'm scarfing it actually with an electric plane. I haven't seen much of anything that this planer can't do. Now, I hadn't rounded the corner on this side when I fiberglassed the other side because I wanted the fiberglass to go right off straight. And the first side, all the rounding was done in the wood. On this side, the rounding's done partially in the wood and partially in the fiberglass. I'm using a plane, a little block plane, and I'm just rounding this corner off. So basically, I'm planing fiberglass here. Well, I'm rounding it off so that the cloth is much easier to get around the corner. It couldn't be totally sharp. If it was sharp, it would squeeze the resin out of it. But with this, it won't do that. So this giving it a nice round edge to go around with the fiberglass there. And it couldn't work any better. And we're pretty close here. We're ready to roll it out and cut it off to length. We're going to roll 2 layers out and cut them off to length and then roll them back up again. And then we're going to saturate the wood right here with a thinned epoxy, and then we can roll the sheet right out over it and start saturating the cloth. The first thing we're going to do before we start fiberglassing it is to cut the cloth to length, because we wouldn't want to roll it out very slowly after the resin was on there. We want to roll it out real fast and get to it. So we're going to do whatever we can do before we start resining, and that is cut the cloth to shape. And then we're going to roll it back up, and we're not going to fold it, and we're not going to flake it, because doing that can break the fibers in the cloth. It's not quite as strong. So we just roll it back up. And that's very convenient for us after we've got it resined out to just roll it back down again. Now we're mixing this glue. We're dumping it right out of a 5-gallon container. And you just have to be very, very careful. It is summertime, so it doesn't have much of a viscous, and you can stop it right where you want. So it's fairly easy to mix. It's a 2-to-1 mix, this TotalBoat high-performance epoxy. Now we're using the slow hardener in these batches because it gives us a lot more time to work with the fiberglass. And the other thing it doesn't do is go off in the pot anywhere near as fast, so we don't waste any of it. So that's a big plus. We mix it up, and we mix it up really, really good, the best we can. I love 2-to-1 mixes because they don't have an amine blush. You know, because the amine blush is really a problem in a lot of situations. So, and there's a lot of surface area here. And we're putting 2 layers of 1708 on at the same time, or 1 layer at a time, but, you know, while the first one's still wet, we're putting the next one right over. It's a lot of resin. Well, now we're going to get started. You know, we're going to dump the resin on the boat. We don't want to go to the pot with a brush or anything like that, or a roller pan or anything like that. We don't have to do that. We just dump it up near the keel, and it kind of runs down. As long as you get to it in time, it doesn't run off the side of the boat. So it's pretty simple to get it out of the pot onto the boat. And we're giving it 1 coat of thinned resin, and maybe if it soaks in a little bit too much here or there, we'll go ahead and patch it up a little bit more, and then we're going to put another coat of resin on it, and we're going to put it on there pretty thick. Now the idea of that is so that when we lay that 1708 down there, we don't have to work too hard to get it saturated, because it's saturating from the bottom side while we're saturating it from the top. Well, here we go with our first layer. We're going to roll it right out, but I'm up at the keel and I don't want it hanging very far over. I've got actually a perfect spot that I want it to end, and so I have to keep track of that, because if you roll it out too fast underneath you or down at the chine area, then you have to pull on the cloth like crazy, and that's actually what 1708 is made to do. But you know, I don't want to do it that way. I want to roll it out in exactly the right spot. Once we've got that layer rolled out on the boat, I'm going to cut it off a little bit long, just because it makes it look a little neater, and you know, it just makes it a little bit easier for us to go along. We're not being shy with our epoxy, because that would slow the process down terrible. You know, we want to use plenty of resin because we just want it to soak in as fast as we can get it in there. All right, well, we used a foam roller just to spread the epoxy around, and then I'm using what they call a fin roller to roll it onto afterwards and get that saturation just the way we want it. And it really does a nice job. The roller does a much easier job and faster and better than the spreaders. So we learned that. And it's going much faster this time than the other side. And the saturation's much easier, so coming out real nice. And I wanted to say something about this little braille up here. That thing really is nice because you don't have to lean into the fiberglass or the resin with your pants. You know, you can just hold on to this thing and you can reach the center line really easily. And it really makes it easy. Without this rail, I don't know what would happen, but you wouldn't look the same when you left, because you'd be covered in glue. This thing works great. The roller works great. Right in here, it's getting a little air bubble right underneath it, and that's because of the rigidity or the stiffness of the cloth. Once you bend it around the corner, you'll get an air bubble up here and down in here. So we'll have to nail a batten down over the top of it to make it stay down nice and tight. As we get saturating this first layer, we're starting from back aft, and we're just working our way forward. There's 3 or 4 mixes here to get to the end of it, but you know, we didn't want to mix it in a giant pot because it stays in there a little bit too long, so we don't want to create any heat. That would be not good for us at all. It always surprises me when I do something like this that you know, the resin gets soaked into the cloth, and quite a bit of resin. That cloth will soak up a lot of resin. You know, without vacuum bagging it and all these other things, you know, people might say it's a little bit oversaturated or a little bit too much resin, but that's not the case at all. It's just enough to get it saturated perfectly, and that's the way I like to do it right there. This is a little bit different than doing most fiberglass work, because we're fiberglassing over a male, and most fiberglass work today is fiberglass in a female mold. You know, and they gel coat it first and these kind of things. We don't get to do that, so we want it to go on there as smooth as we can get it, because afterwards we're going to have to smooth it up a little bit more and make it look really, really nice. Now, we're working our way forward, and one of the things that's really cool is you can see when this cloth is saturated. You don't have to guess at all, because all the grain and everything is popping out right underneath it. You know, as we saturate it, it looks like varnish almost, you know, and really looks great. So up forward, it's a little bit different because, you know, it's standing up a little bit straighter. So, you know, maybe a technique of saturating is a little bit different, but not a whole lot. We just want to make sure we're getting plenty of resin on this first layer of cloth, because we're going to roll another layer of cloth right over it. And it's just like the first thing. We just want tons of resin under the cloth, so when we sit it down, it'll be saturating from both sides. So here we go with our final layer. Roll it on there, being kind of careful where it ends at the keel, just like the first layer. Like I say, we're being careful, and we just got to go at it. just like the first layer, Matthew's doing the mixing, and we're going to try to do the saturating. And sometimes we get ahead of him, and sometimes he gets ahead of us, but not by much, because we're not mixing big, huge batches, you know. So, but it's the same exact process, really, as the first layer. We saturated the bottom first, and then we went on to the side. Now, you've heard me talk about this stuff before. You know, the fiberglass cloth does not want to go around that corner real easy. So if you just leave it alone, it starts making a bubble on both sides of the corner. Well, that doesn't work for us. So what I'm doing is nailing a strip of wood right down. I put a piece of polyethylene under it first. And once we get one strip on it, we can just pull on the polyethylene, and it makes the corner just come out so nice. So I'm using box nails because they're very, very small in diameter, and they're just about the right length. You know, nailing through the cedar, you get right through the cedar and into the oak, and it's not very deep in the oak, but it holds real nice. And I don't mind the nail holes afterwards, because I go around with one of those little rubber syringes and fill the nail holes up, and it's just not a problem at all. And then what we're doing is we're pulling back the polyethylene and just troweling it along the edge in there, so it won't have a big puddle of resin or anything on the upper or the lower side. And what I'm trying to do is just keep a pressure on both sides of that corner to bend the fibers down. You know, it's not a problem with the resin, it's the problem is with the fibers. The fibers are too stiff. You can get them around there in resin and it looks pretty nice, but if you're standing there watching it, all of a sudden a bubble will start to appear, you know, on the bottom and on the side. So, you know, this is what we need to do. We need to put pressure on top of the cloth. And then up forward, you'll see me nailing it near the stem, but I have to be really careful up there, because if I drive those nails in there too deep, I'll have a hard time getting them out. You know, so basically I drive them in until I feel like they're holding, and then I fold them right over on the strip that I'm nailing down. And this corner's a little sharper than the corners down the side of the boat, so you have to be a little careful. And this one has to have quite a bend in it to get around there. So I had to cut it pretty small too, as I tried a little bit heavier one. You're just not going to get it to go, you know. So basically that one goes on pretty easy. And like I said, once I get those nails in there where I think they're holding, I'm going to fold them over, because I don't want to drive them in there too far. And then I use a flat one going right down the middle, because it bends on real easy. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that building a boat exactly like this is easy. It's not. It was one of the more complicated things that I've actually done. And it requires a lot of twisting. You know, there's glue involved. It's a composite construction, you might say. So there's a lot of things to think about. But boy, it's satisfying, because it looks great. It's got this crust on it that I wanted, so it wouldn't get, you know, wrecked on the trailer or scratched up, or you could actually pull it up on the beach and not hurt it. It was a great idea to put this cloth on here. It does make the boat stronger. It didn't really need to be any stronger, but, you know, it is. And I can't wait to take this thing for a ride. It may look like a fiberglass boat right now, and the crust is fiberglass, but when I roll it over, it's going to look like a wooden boat, because the whole inside really has got the same fashion as a work skiff. You know, the frames are connected to the chines the same way. It's got a flat bottom right across it. It's all wood inside, but it's got that V bottom, so it'll ride quite a bit nicer in the chop.